welcome back to another episode of the DLC podcast, episode 4. Offline again, but this time due to technical difficulties of broadcasting. Oh boy, I can record offline, but having some internet problems. Ooh, gotta love when that shit starts happening, huh? But it's what it is. So, this episode is going to be a little bit different. It is going to be talking about the E3 that has passed a few weeks ago. Today is the 25th, so by my record, it was probably a week or so ago. Originally, this was supposed to be broadcast on Saturday, but situations happened, so it had to be pushed back. Anyways, before we talk about the main feature, which is the E3 thing, I might as well talk a little bit about some news that passed a little bit now. Some of these news I'll hold off until next episode because it usually, talks about something else here, so I might as well talk about this here. So I'm going to see which ones I can probably talk about and then move away from any others. I'm going to wait for the other ones stuff here. Okay. Very professional, I know. Right, okay, so let's talk about one of the things is that gaming, playing video games is now considered as a disorder thanks to the World Health Organization, or what they've dubbed as WHO. The organization has claimed situations where they're now classifying video games as being somewhat of a disorder. However, I feel like a lot of people, even within the health organizations, are saying that this is somewhat bullshit to do. In fact, it's really retarded for them to do because this opens the floodgate for anything to be under depreciation. Though, if you want my honest opinion, I think maybe they put that in there due to one certain user. I just watched Medicare, and he released a video just recently before it came online, which was talking about that the Summer's Games Done Quick has arrived, and he's just like, well, look at all these people and look what they're doing right now. So I can understand why it's now called a fucking disorder, because of these wackos in this gaming thing. Yeah, no, but they have their own issues and own controversies, which I probably won't be talking about next episode. Hopefully with people and not by myself. Like a loser. As it is. Right, so then this next one here talks about that I'm not going to talk about because it's going to not make sense coming up here. Alright, an update with the loot box stuff. Netherlands, if you remember the last time, I quickly talked about how Netherlands has recently just simply said, you have to change this or else whatever, because they've deemed some games as having gambling mechanics. Well, the due date has passed, and now Valve had been forced into discontinuing some of these things from within the Netherlands. So they're like, oh, we didn't believe it, but we have to oblige, kind of deal. So it's like, no shit. So this is now the first time a company has forced itself to do this type of shit, which is good news for me because I always found the loot box thing to be somewhat of a fucking inexcusable thing. Not the fact that the idea of it could be fun, but the problem of it is the way the companies are doing it is very malicious. Like, they're doing it on purpose kind of deal. If you don't know what the loot box is, it's kind of like if you go and buy yourself a card pack like Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon. There's like these little packs. So you open them up and you don't know what you're getting, and then they like say that you might get this or that, but you don't know. You might get duplicates. So it's that kind of stupid system. However, you're literally paying money in order to get something, so it's literally like almost gambling in a sense versus just paying it outright. So that will be something. I'll be talking a little bit more about the loot box stuff a bit later. Alright. One of these stories I probably won't be talking about until near the end of this because it does relate to something coming up. There's another one here. Okay, so there's two more left I could talk about real quick. I might as well. Because one of the other stories doesn't come out until Friday, so I'm going to have to hold off until next episode after listening to it. The other one won't make sense unless I talked about it for this episode. And then the other one is going to get talked about because of the last little bit here of this story. So let's quickly talk about this. According to some sources, it seems like Nintendo and Disney are now doing some sort of show for Switch, which is I think called the Family Showdown. And really it's like, you know, are you the best fan for Switch? Then come to your shit right now. And all that stuff. So be on the lookout for that when that comes out. Not really much there except for just a quick little bit. So that should be interesting that Nintendo and Disney are working together, two of the biggest powerhouses as of right now when it comes to that kind of stuff. Alright, last but not least, before we get to the main stuff, I know I apologize for how lackluster this is. If you recall a while ago, I don't know which episode this was, I'm not sure if it was the third one or it could just be the second one. I think it might be the second one. There was some talks about the Atari VCS, which is Atari's new console, quote-unquote, that's trying to pop out. I joked about how this sounds like this was going to be the Ouya, but I've kind of now changed my mind. This sounds like this is going to be the next Coleco Chameleon. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It is a very unique and weird fucking experiment, and, oh boy. Yeah, so basically a lot of people now are speculating that this whole thing is a scam. The reason they say that is because there has been some evidence that had came up with them doing some shady shit and not answering certain things, and it's kind of raising some flags, as it were. The first of which was they've released a video showing some things where these guys are like, oh, let's do this, let's do that. And then they showed this one game that's supposedly running on this system, only for the creator to come up and go, yeah, I haven't really released any game of that nor have I released it on like a Linux type base. And then they came clean and said, okay, we were doing it on a PC. And I'm just like, well, that's fucking shady as shit, right? He didn't even disclose to say, like, for reputation purposes only. They didn't say that. They made it lead you to believe that this was the thing. And what's very more interesting about why I was so skeptical about this shit too was because of, if you didn't realize, they had a very shady history ever since people bought the Atari name in 2014. These guys have been doing some really shady shit and have included some stuff as well. If you want more information or you want to learn more about this or want to see what I mean by talking about this type of stuff, let me go ahead and try to see if I can't find who the user is, because this guy has done stuff here and I want to plug this guy in. I'll probably be lazy enough not to add this to the thing, so I apologize on that. Jesus. You gotta love it when I'm trying to do stuff and then I'm just like not kind of getting this stuff. I'm getting distracted. Alright, so VCS. Okay, so the guy's name is Stop, Drop, and Retro. And he has a new video that came out, I believe, 2 days ago from when we were recording, that says Cut and Run is an Atari VCS best exclusive. Basically, this guy does a lot of the Kickstarter scammer, Indiegogo type of shit. Looks into detail about this crap. And then from there, kinda... Apologies, I'm having some problems here. Fucking weather. Whew. Allergies are not my strong suits during this time. So basically, these guys have done some shady shit in the past, and needless to say, watch that video and you'll find basically the problem when it comes to this Atari shit, as it said. Or as I wanted to say, because problems here. Let me just open this up and let me shut myself off, because this is going to help me later on. Right. And then I'm going to have to put that back in the garbage. Alright, so let's now talk about the main feature. So, last year I kind of talked about the E3 stuff, much like in the vein of this area here. But this is my first annual free E3 Awards of 2018. What this is basically is this is my final thoughts on everything and what I want to award for certain people, let's just say, from what I believe belongs to who and what, and I have different entertainment and whatnot. So, as I once said, I did a prediction before E3 of what I hoped for, what would be coming up and all that type of stuff. Needless to say, things has happened, and yeah, just ignore some clicks, because this is just me going in and out trying to remember certain things, because my memory's that bad. This year, though, which was interesting, I sacrificed a week off of streaming because of the E3 coverage stuff. And what I ended up doing instead was I first basically live cam record myself. And although I'm kind of masked, the reason for that was just because of hiding my my other self from my persona I play on this channel. Because, you know, I like to keep my privacy, as you know, and not have people confuse me from, you know, because apparently I look like someone else, so don't want the confusion, right? So I basically myself, just so you can see my facial my reactions basically to the minor detail without me going too full on. So I did all 8 press conferences. It was originally 7, but then one person decided to come on in, so I'll talk about that real quick. Right, so let's quickly chat on each one, shall we? So the first one we start off with is EA. Oh boy, EA. Oof. Okay, well, they decided to start themselves off on Saturday, those motherfuckers. So as they start, they did something very fucking weird, like, they did this weird-ass fucking CGI 3D shit, and I have no idea why they did this, or why this is a thing, but they did, and it was supposed to be advertising for Anthem, but I'm just like, what the fuck is this? What is going on here? Like, why am I seeing it like this? It's so stupid, and all that. Then we get to meet this, the host of this show, which is another streamer slash YouTuber slash I don't fucking care. Apparently he's within the community of like people like myself, but she did a pretty good job compared to what happened last time with another guy who was there previously and all that stuff. I actually might not be alone anymore. I have somebody here chatting, so I might have them pop in. But let me double check before I go all crazy. This is going to be a live improv thing, so let me just see here. Okay, never mind. He's busy. Oh well. You know, that's what I get. You know, I had him free for the weekend, but no. This is the last week for my work before I have 2 weeks off, so I should hopefully get a lot more videos popping into online and having more freedom to do shit. Anyways, where was I? Yeah, so the host here, she was actually pretty decent. She wasn't cringy, she wasn't bad. She was pretty decent for what she was doing and whatnot, so it was whatever. So that happened. Then they talked about Battlefield Vagina, or aka Battlefield 5. Before the E3 coverage happened, they released a trailer, and then people were so offended because it's like, This is not my battlefield. Hashtag SJWA, the girl with the robot hair. Like, you know, this is an inaccurate description of what happened in real life in World War II. It's like, I've seen World War II happen so many fucking times. I don't care anymore. Let's have it as this weird depiction and have equality. I don't know. See, I'm not a big bother when it comes to having a lot of choices be made for people, like, you know, equality and what shit. My problem is when they're forced into it. And there's examples of forced diversity. Star Wars is a good example of this. A good diversity and stuff could be something like Splatoon, alright? Or certain other games. But a lot of people have noticed that it's a lot of women. Man. I don't know what the fucking term they is, because it's like they don't like women because it's like offended because there's man in the name. You know those types. I don't fucking know. Anyways, Battlefield 5. They basically announced, I was talking over this, so I didn't even pay attention, but later on I looked back, and apparently they announced Royale. Yeah, so they also are doing fucking Battle Royale, which is like retarded as shit. You know what's even interesting? I've started to upload some of these videos on my channel, as well as the actual clip shows. And I'm surprised to see I have not gotten like a copyright match from the video, despite me joking about the fact that there was going to copyright strike because of the video and music they added in there. But it's whatever. I won't talk much about that. Yeah, so it's Battlefield, you know, Battlefield game. It looks fun, I guess. I mean, I don't really play the game, so I can really give two shits less. But these guys were just like, oh, whatever. Oh yeah, and then they kind of cock tease and just like, oh, we have a story mode. We're not like fucking Activision with their Battlefield, which has no fucking story mode. We actually have a story mode, but you won't see it until Microsoft until tomorrow. So it's like, all right, fine, whatever. And then the next thing that happens is fucking FIFA Sport. Like, oh boy. And get a stupid CGI trailer, and all of a sudden they start showing us the European Cup or the Championship Cup. Not the FIFA Cup, but like the Soccer Cup, or the Europeans call it football. But yeah, this it was so bad because it's like, why are you focusing on shit like this? Because no one really gives a shit. And then there's like there's just like this one chick on the side here who's probably from Russia because of her accent and the fact that the FIFA Cup is going on in Russia right now. But then you have this jerk off on the side here. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. So you have this jackass over here who's like Mr. Orgasming over the cup. And I'm just like, I can give two shits less of them just talking about this shit. I know, they're talking about FIFA like there's an update coming to like the original game out now. Don't care. And I talk about Russia and their FIFA Cup going on right now and blah blah blah. And then you have the evil Steve Jobs himself, the CEO, which I don't fucking know his name again. Let me just can I see his name pop up at all? No, I have to watch this stupid video in order. Andrew Wilson, there you go. Fucking Andrew Wilson comes on talking shit about the fact that we have Premiere. We have this new system where now we're going to be like any other services where if you pay us a certain amount of fee, just like how Xbox is doing, you can play our games with Origin. And it's funny because I'm watching this and, you know, they kind of do it. It's like you can do it on your phone, you can do it on your console, you can do it on your PC. And I'm like, if you could do it on your phone, that would be kind of cool, but at the same time, I could just give shit less. And then they talk about, oh yeah, we have these new games coming in there here too. Oh yeah, and I also joked while I was watching the video. The chick is watching this thing, it's like explosion from the screen, and then all of a sudden, it cuts to, I think, Battlefield 5. And then it's like, oh, she died. Because the way the timing and the editing worked, it almost looked like she got thrown out the fucking window. It's so weird. So it's called Origin Access Premiere. I think that's what it's called, so whatever. The next thing that happened was probably one of the most non-fucking announcements I have ever seen, and I feel like they shouldn't even fucking bothered if they had nothing to show. So apparently, the chick who's hosting the show sits down right beside, I believe, the one of the people working at I forgot. I don't know what the company's name is. It's like I have to play it in order for their fucking name to pop up, probably. But basically, this guy worked on like the Titanfall series, so that company that just recently got bought by EA. And they announced that they're like, oh, we're making a new Star Wars game, and it's called something Jedi, and you're gonna be playing as a Jedi, and it takes place between the third and fourth movie, so it's gonna be like the fucking dark timeline. And I'm like, that's cool and all, but I can give zero fucks and zero hype just because of what happened with Battlefield 2 and what happened to that previously first, that one game that was supposed to be like the first world with the Star Wars person coming in to write the story for it, and then EA going like, oh, fuck it. Don't want it. Doesn't make us money, so, you know. So I'm like, don't even bother talking about this shit because it's going to be like any other Star Wars game that gets shown off. Even like Star Wars 1313, remember that? That looked cool. And then it's like, oh, no, shit canned. We're fucking out of business. So it's just shit like that. Don't care. And then you have Hipster McGee pop up saying like, we are so sorry, trying to suck the dicks off of the people watching the show. Saying stuff along the lines of like, we're so sorry, we heard all the people, please come back to our game, please come back to our game. We're adding new shit. We're adding General Grievous in the show and Obi-Wan Kenobi and the Clone Wars. Come on, please come back, please come back, please. So that's what they're doing, and then they're kind of telling us like all the other updates they kind of had in this fucking show. Which, oh good, yeah. Fucking crash on me, why don't you? Yeah, so that shit starts happening. So, you know, let me just see what else happened. I don't want to see fucking Andrew Wilson can go fuck himself. Yeah, so they talked about this stupid shit. And then the next thing, out of nowhere, we get Yarny. Yarny's back. Fucking Unravel 2 has been announced. And in this game, you play as two Yarnies. One red, one blue, but you can change their colors. And it's much like the first game, except it's a lot more puzzly because you have two players, basically. They've learned a way out, and they wanted to do something with that. And some weird shit like that. But, you know, they showed some gameplay, and you could tell this was legit gameplay because of how it was set up. It was like the guy's like, oh, I didn't set this up properly. And I'm just like, oh, or whatever. And then what was even funnier, the guy who came out, it was the same guy as before. He was a lot less nervous this time around. He was a little bit more confident, but he still had that little awkwardness to him, which was just like, oh, poor sweetheart. Bless that man's heart. Anyways, he comes on. He's just like, you could play it right now. It's out now, and I'm just like, oh shit. And then I hear this guy's like, oh my fucking god! It's like, oh, that guy's extremely happy that the game came out today. So yeah, so that game's out, so that's kind of cool. And then they show us the new game, like the new indie game they wanted to show off, which is very interesting. Because you had this guy talk, before he showed off this guy, he talked about how A Way Out did very well for them, and then how I joked about how everyone did it just because to piss him off. He's like, oh, the first player story it's dead, don't want it. And then just like, yeah, well, look what happened there. Even the guy who made the game kind of fucking picked fun at you. Anyways, so that happened, and the next game that came out was Sea of Solitude, which looks like a very interesting story kind of walking simulator type of game. Apparently you play as a girl who's slowly becoming a monster because she's isolated or depressed or something like that. And then she's trying to become human again because apparently if you're alone and seclusive, you become... It's like symbolism or whatnot. And then, you know, this chick comes out and she's fucking like basically the guy who made Yarny 2.0, where she's all fucking nervous and whatnot, trying to explain her game. And when this was going on, she was talking about how there's like two versions of this game. You could either play the game normally and without the scary mode, or you could play it like with the actual story in mind. And so it's like, oh, so there's baby mode and real man mode. But anyways, I looked at the trailer and it looks very interesting. It's very kind of emotional driven, especially with the, like the sound and everything. Apparently it's coming out probably sometime next year before the next E3. So my guess is probably spring or probably winter. I don't know. It says early 19, so that could change, as you all know. And of course, as soon as that happened, I'm like, oh, are they going to ruin it by the different stuff? And it's like, yeah, they kind of did, because the next thing was NFL, or whatever the fucking basketball series is. So they showed a stupid trailer that I could give two shit less at. They only showed the trailer, by the way. They just showed, oh yeah, we're making basketball, by the way, and then that was it. And then they showed this fucking whiny bitch jerk off. It's just like, I beat Madden finally. I got this fucking thing. I was a loser, but now I'm a winner, so now I have to come up here. So you got this jackass from the Madden fucking World Belt Cup come up with this other jackass, and then they're kind of having a cringe talk about stupid shit I don't care about, or his life I can give zero fucks about. Then he showed off Madden itself, like another commercial for it. So that's it. They were just showing like, oh yeah, Madden's coming. So it's like, that's nice. And then here comes probably the highlight, the one thing that came out of this fucking press conference that everyone's talking about. And it was this stupid motherfucking mobile game that they showed 20 goddamn minutes of that looked like it was pre-scripted and everything like that. And from what I talked to somebody who actually knew the game, apparently they kind of knew what this was before. Because it's like, you know, they had these two guys. They had the announcer, and then they had the other guy. It's like, I'm from this studio. And the guy's just like, like, the friend of mine said, like, they got excited because they knew who these guys were. And it's just like, and we're going to talk about a mobile game. And he's just like, oh. But I was fucking blissfully unaware. Because, again, I acted like I could give zero fucks less about Command & Conquer because I haven't played the series, but I know when it comes to bastardizations, and this is a bastardization and money grab if I ever did fucking see one. Which I even made a meme out of. I did the Rick and Morty, Evil Morty thing, where it's just like, when the music drops with the, that type of stupid shit is when I decided to do the whole, oh, it's revealed that this was Command & Conquer. It's like, like fucking perfect. I will be releasing an actual highlight video of E3, but, you know, I wanted to do that because it was a funny joke and it was really quick for me to upload. So this happened, and you got these two jerk-offs playing off on the game thing, and I could give two shits less, right? And you're like, whatever. And then it's revealed, oh, this is Command & Conquer Rivals. And I'm just like, you fuckers. You had to just put a goddamn name that people wanted to see a game of. And you're like, no, fuck you. You don't deserve it. You go in the garbage is what you do. So, yeah, that happened. And then they showed a stupid commercial for it. And then they're like, oh, you could technically play it now if you're on Android for, like, beta. And I'm just like, I can give two shits less about that. And then you have fucking the creator, not the creator, the fucking CEO, okay, come again, just to remind people, like, EA is a great company. Like, we do charity work. We donate to, like, these 3 charities using your money that we tricked you to do gambling off of. And I'm like, give zero fucks about it, just because of, like, this is just PR circle jerking themselves to be like, we're good people, we're not evil, no. It's like, it's so fucking corporate and chill, like, everything about it, and I can give it less. And then finally they showed off Anthem, their big hitting home run, their one thing that they're hoping to bank on this year for Christmas. Which, basically, if this game fucking doesn't give EA gangbusters, this game, basically, BioWare is like, bye-bye. Like, they're gonna be gone, like, you know, slurped up by EA, and then their corpse is spit out like all the others, and then their bones will be with the other bones of the companies they fucking killed off over the years. But yeah, they showed off Anthem, a bunch of that. They kind of went along the lines of like, oh, there's no loot boxes and stuff like that. And then, oh yeah, that's the other thing too. This whole press conference was like, we swear there's no loot boxes with these games. Please play it. And then one of the things I mentioned was like, oh, but they didn't say anything about microtransactions, so they're still going to put that shit in there. It's not like they're going to give you the game for free, God forbid. They only did that for Battlefield because they got caught and they were losing money, so they were trying to get people to come back in and spend money freely. But no, loot boxes is fucking dead thanks to EA, so that's great. That's great to know. So they just show, here's the other thing, they showed a lot of early concept art and then they showed like scripted gameplay. And it was nice that we didn't get to hear fucking fake people talking to each other. Like, you know how it says like, hey, I got this bogey on my hand. Alright, let me shoot him. Yeah, nice one. Because nobody talks like that. Nobody fucking talks like that in real life. I'll talk more about that later. But instead you got to hear, I guess, gameplay audio. So it's like the gameplay characters talking to one another, which is like, that's better and unique. So what I can understand from this game is that it is an MMO when you're outlined into this world in the robot suits. And when you're not in the robot suits, it's basically first player kind of deal. So there's that. What else goes on here? And that's about it. Then they were like, oh yeah, we ended off, we're happy, blah blah blah. So that was EA, and I was like, oh EA, that bad. Ooh, yes, it was that bad, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and go to the next one. Let me see, which one was the next one again? It was Xbox. Alright, so let's talk about Xbox. Now, Xbox itself... Dude. No, fuck off me. Stop talking. Anyways, let's talk about Xbox because it came on. And, oh, this breaks my heart. Kinda. I say that because I was hoping they would announce something in particular, but they said fuck all about it. However, they do realize that Banjo-Kazooie is a thing because apparently recently there has been news that GameStop is pre-ordering and selling a new Banjo-Kazooie plushie coming out, I believe, sometime around the fall. So that makes, like, raises questions, like hopes, like, oh, there is something coming up. So, you know, I'm gonna get myself a plushie, but I'm just curious if they're just holding off on this for something else. But yeah, no Banjo-Kazooie, nothing. 20th anniversary, fucking down the toilet. It's worse than what happened to Metroid's 20th anniversary. Remember that? Oh, hey, this is, oh, by the way, yeah, it's their anniversary. Here's a shitty spin-off game for the 3DS. You fucking shills. So anyways, so the game starts off, and I will say this. I'll talk about everybody's press conference near the end. So, we start off with Xbox. They show off this, what looks like this weird kind of Earth game. And I was joking of like, this is like, what? Is this like, you're going to hear Morgan Freeman talking in the background? And then you get these space people, the shooters kind of coming out and whatnot. And then all of a sudden it kind of pans back. And then it's like Master Chief's helmet. And I'm like, oh, it's the next Halo game, of course. So, this one's called Halo Infinite or something like that. And it looks like it's going to take more place on the Earth or whatever the fucking Halo shit. I don't know. I've lost interest with Halo for a long time now, but yeah, new Halo game, so there you go. Then, of course, we got Phil Spencer popping in, doing his Phil Spencer-y thing. He talks about stuff. There's this thing called Fan Fest that's coming up or something, I don't know. Then he shows off, the new game, Ori and the Wisp, let me just see what the game's called exactly. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. So I think this was a new game that was coming out. A lot of people were talking about. So yeah, this game's now coming out officially. It's fucking beautiful, I will say. Like, oh my god, if you want a 2D platforming that looks like fucking painting, this is the game for you. This is like, ooh, oh, it's a art. It's artistic, is what that is. Also, like any other EA, this Xbox press conference, if I can say any words, it's 2 words. Exclusives. World premiere. Like, that's all you get to hear. So they're like, yeah, they're going to hear a lot of exclusives and world premieres. You know, like, that's all they did. So then they show off this interesting samurai game that looks like it's going to be like Dark Souls in a way. And it looks like, and I can't say this, I don't know for sure. It's From Software is who's making this game. And it seems like this game that they were advertising, it looks like it's a cross between Japanese, or like, I think Japanese folklore with, and I'm going to say Japanese just because of what the imagery I've seen here and samurais and stuff like that and the culture. It could be somewhere in Asia for sure. I just don't know where exactly from Asia because of the thing. But it looks like you're fighting like onis and demons and other weird creatures. So it looks like you're like a zombie, or if you're under, like you're in the, I have no idea, but this looks interesting. So, you know, so there's that. And then Todd fucking Howard popped in and he was just like, oh, by the way, we have our show coming up in a little bit, but before then, let me show you our new game that we teased about, Fallout 76. So they showed the trailer off about Fallout 76. I will talk about that more when it comes to the Bethesda stuff, because they talk more about that. But yeah, they show the trailer, so that's nice. Trying to give you something about what this game is without really telling you, but it's whatever. Then they showed off a new game, which is The Life in Tumblr, aka Life is Strange. But this is a spin-off, free download game called like The Adventures of Captain Spirit. And from what I understand, this is a spin-off game that is for free to download. I don't know if it's its own separate title or you'll have to own the number, like the prequels or something like that in order to download it. But from what I understand, this is a precursor to number 2. So this is supposed to be like the stories from 1 to in between. And it looks like instead of focusing on the one character, we're focusing on more of the town within itself. So it's different characters and all that. So I haven't played the prequel. I haven't played the normal one. I can give 2 shits less. And, you know, it's like, the reason they call it Life in Tumblr is because there's one chick who's like blue hair and like fucking emotional shit. Oh, yeah, and then they show off the game that's never fucking coming out, Crackdown 3. They showed us gameplay this time. They showed us that I guess you can play as fucking the guy who what's his name? Terry Crews. You can finally play as the character of Terry Crews playing as, I'm assuming. So now you can live your dream of being the ultimate badass fucking like Old Spice commercials. They showed off these new weird car mechanics, like now you have a car that can shift to being a tank, to jumping on buildings and running around on the buildings. The enemies are fucking bigger. Like, this looks like, in order to base explain it, imagine if you played the original Crackdown, but mix that with like the insanity that is Saints Row 4. That's what this game looks like it's going to be. So I'm very intrigued. They finally announced that it's supposed to be coming out February of next year, but I doubt it, just because of how long it's been for this game to finally fucking come out. So it's going to be somewhat of a disappointment, but whatever. Then they finally showed off some gameplay about the game they announced last year, which was Metroid Express, or Exodus, which is the new 3rd Metroid game coming out. I haven't played the other 2. I know that the games are good, so there's that. Then you have Phil Spencer coming up. Then he's talking about a new game popping up. Oh yeah, no. Then he comes up and he's talking about that the first time ever we're going to show off some new gameplay on Kingdom Hearts 3. So it's like they just announced that Kingdom Hearts 3 is also coming out on the Xbox One, which is a new thing because for the longest time, the Kingdom Hearts always been like a PS exclusive. So they're like, oh yeah, nope, now we can come out and doing this. The only thing I will say about the Kingdom Hearts thing is that they announced that fucking Frozen is going to be part of the world you're going into, so I'm like, oh no. Because, you know, Frozen. Then they showed off a trailer showing that, yes, there is content coming out for the Sea of Thieves. I don't know if this is free content or DLC, but apparently there's one coming out in July, and the other one's coming out in September, and there's supposed to be new content added to this game to make it seem like there's something to do within the game, because I think the biggest complaint when they first came out was whatnot. I still have the game, and I still have yet to play it. I might play it during the summer, because I have... In order to play, you have to have a fucking online server. So I have like 3 day, I have a 3-day membership, and I'm just like, before I'm ready to play it, I want to make sure I'm gonna be playing it, because as soon as I reek that thing in, I have 3 months, and then that's it. I also have to pay more fucking money, which is retarded. And then they showed a new Forza game, which is like, oh, now there's new weather mechanics that you can shift into, which is like, it's a racing game, and they're trying to show off this type of stuff. It's whatever. Also, what's weird is that the game, the whole Xbox thing, you have this huge fucking pamphlet of what looks like things being shown off. Like these game places, like they have like 50 monitors with games on it, but yet I hardly see them ever using it, so that I don't know what that was all about. I guess that's to show off that they have such a thing. Okay, so then this is where this new thing comes in. Alright, so Microsoft announced that they have not only built a new game studio called The Initiative, but they've also bought certain companies now that is now owned by Xbox. One of them is Undead Labs, which is the company that did that recently did the State of Decay, which was a exclusive for Xbox. So now that series of games is going to be exclusive for Xbox. Then they announced Playground Games, which is like an obvious because the fact that they have, you know, that there. What was the other games company they had? Hold on. Ninja Theory is the next one they did. Now, I don't know what Ninja Theory did as a game series, but there you go. Oh, and the biggest last one they announced is that they bought the company who made, who's making the game The Last of Us. Oh no, We Happy Few, which is coming out in August. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, so we went from being an indie darling to being partnered with a company to do this like online bullshit type of stuff, to now being bought off by Xbox. It's like, Jesus. I am interested in playing the game though, so I'm going to be playing it on the Xbox because I figured, okay, well, if they bought up by Xbox, then obviously that's a superiority one. But I really like this game, or it looks very interesting, because it kind of reminds me of a bit of a cartoony looking BioShock-like world, just because of the whole human psychology of it. Yeah, so apparently from this game, you're playing as 2 different characters, a guy and a girl, who are basically off their meds, and they're trying to figure out why the fuck everyone's on this happy pills. And apparently something really bad happened during the war that caused them to kind of like, they can't, because if they, as soon as they do, they're gonna kill each other. And I'm just like, makes you like, what the fuck did they do? Makes you want to curious. Oh yeah. And then they show this commercial talking about how fucking PUBG is coming out with new maps and a new game mode and all that in like this summer. And I'm not give 2 shits less, because it's like, this is a company that's suing Fortnite because of pittiness, that it's like, oh, you're successful, I don't like this at all. So there's that. Then they show off this new game, this the definitive anime edition. What was it called? It was Tales of Berseria, the definitive edition, which is coming this winter for the Xbox, so there you go. Then they showed off the reveal of Division 2, which, you know, it's a division. And then they showed off the whole, what I would like to call, fake gamer commentary, where people imagine what gamers would sound like, going like, hey guys, you gotta go over here, there's a bogey on there. It's like, yeah, I got him. Like, good job. In reality, it's just like, fucker, get over there. And, you know, it's not real life. It's really fucking scripted and fake, but it gives you an idea, I guess, of what the game was going to be like and what it looks like. It's, you know, I guess it's like Division, but can't wait for the bugs. Then you have this chick come up talking about Gamer Pass and how great that was and how great it is and how they're going to add new games in there, which I can care less. And then they showed off some more commercials about indie games. Then they showed off a trailer for Tomb Raider's The Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which looks very interesting. But, you know, it's another Tomb Raider game. Oh, okay, and then here comes this next thing. Okay, so I'm watching this video, and I'm wondering what the hell this is. And it's, like, very skaterly, like, music. And then all of a sudden you see a guy skateboarding. I'm just like, motherfuckers, EA, why the hell did you not announce that Skate 4 was coming into the sessions? And from what I understand, everyone else was saying the same thing, that they all thought this was Skate 4. And they're just like, oh, here's the reveal. And then it's like sessions, and I'm just like, oh, like people are like, oh, this is Skate 4, and then it's like, oh no, it's this totally new thing. I'm just like, oh, a new Skate game's coming out, so there you go. I have no idea if it's gonna be playing like Skate or like I have no idea what the fuck it's gonna be, but there you go. There's a new skateboarding game. Then they showed off, what is this? What the fuck is this game again? I'm trying to see. Hold on. Then they showed a game called Black Desert, which is like a trailer. This came and go. And then here comes something that surprised me, but I had no idea. So apparently, there's rumors that say that Capcom had some games coming out this year, and they didn't know what the hell it was going to be. So they assumed it was going to be like the Dead Rising game. But, oh no, they came out with Devil May Cry 5. And immediately the cringe came on because of the way they kind of had fucking what's-his-face from before. But I don't know if he's going to be less cringy than he did or like what. I mean, they made him have the white hair, so it's kind of like they merged the two together. And then he had this chick he was with, which is like whatever. Yeah, and then apparently on the van it said Devil May Cry 5, but I didn't realize it was 5 until like the fucking commercial came on, or the trail, what do you call it? So yeah, they're like, oh yeah, he's back doing this whole shit, right? And then what? Okay, so this is the part where this interests me. So as you know, as of right now, I'm trying to beat Cuphead in order to upload it as a DLC. As a Let's Play of sorts. And I've been trying to have some time to do that. While this is going on, they announced there's DLC coming to this game. And immediately I'm like, oh no. Not oh no, like I'm not looking forward to this coming out. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna be so mad. Because how mad I was still previously. So, oh, this game is going to be so good. One thing to note, though. Because I commentate over the gameplay, my gameplay skills have suffered. But as soon as I kind of stopped with the game and like I just shut up and play the game, immediately my skills just go like way up the roof kind of deal. So, just note that I actually am good at these games, but because I'm talking at the same time, that's a skill you can't do. Can't talk and play the games at the same time. That is talent right there. Anyways, yeah, so they announced this new trailer. This is new content. I'm trying to remember what it's called. They announced, oh yeah, then they have these weird fucking, like, Mugman's fucking reaction was just so stupid. So then they showed off the legendary Chalice, but they basically turned her from being in a like more mature into more of a cutesy looking design and call her Miss Chalice. And immediately the fucking internet decided to go Rule 34 on her ass. And it's sad. I seen people do like stuff like that, but as soon as it's the joke from Sonic, what was it? Sonic. There was a Sonic parody animation. There was one where it's like, "Oh my god, a new Sonic character! I must draw porn of it." It's like, this is the same thing. Just clip on that. It's just like, I must draw porn of it. So yeah, that's a sad, but yeah, it's adorable. I most likely will probably play as her just because I'm curious on if there's any new. So, okay, a brand new isle, new bosses, and then apparently, I'm not sure, it looks like the way this island is supposed to be done, it's supposed to be like a food island, so I'm assuming the one character they showed off here, Chef Saltbaker, is the boss, aka the devil of this world, or this DLC. And I'm like, at the time I wasn't paying attention, but how fucking appropriate that they decided to have the boss be literally salt. Because they knew how salty people were going to get when they played this game. They knew. That's why they did it. They did that on purpose. And then we get this, the next game we got was this cute as fuck fox-like character. Being Zelda-y. So this was like a Zelda game mixed with like 3D and being cute furry characters. I don't know what it was called exactly. Let me find out. Tunic. That's what it was called. And I was talking about how it sounded like Sonic. Like, Tunic? So yeah, so there was that. And then they showed off a new game where they talked about how, oh, we went to Anime Land and we were so excited because of this. Because last year they showed off, I think, Dragon Ball X Fighters or whatever it was called. And now they're showing off this game called Jump Force. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically referencing Salmon Jump. And it is a manga-like series. It's a company that basically owned the distribution rights to certain mangas like Naruto, One Piece, Dragon Ball Z, and they showed off these characters, and it's a fucking fighting game. And I'm like, oh good, it's anime the fighting game. And then they kind of, near the end, cock-tease that, oh yeah, the guy from Death Note is also going to be in the game. And I'm just like, oh good. Then a surprise came out of nowhere where they've announced the Dying Light 2. And this time it seems like they're going to have more of an emphasis on choice. So it's like, if you do this, then this will happen, and then here's these pros and cons. So they've kind of done this more now than ever. So they kind of showed that more mechanic in this trailer than anything else. But they did also emphasize, like, oh yeah, the whole light system also affects too. So be afraid when it comes to night, because things become, like, shit gets real, basically. So that's interesting enough. Oh, okay. And then here comes something else. When I joked about this because it's like, it's been 20 years. And then all of a sudden you just hear, it's been a long time. And I'm just like, oh. Like, I had no attention what the hell was going on. Like, hold on. Let me just shut myself up for a minute. Just, like, listen to myself talk here real quick.
World premiere.
It's been 20 years.
A lot of time has passed.
Yeah, that whole shit happened, and then my eyeballs just popped up like, oh, is this the Banjo-Kazooie announcement I wanted? And then I'm like, oh, wait, maybe it's not. But then it's like, wait, what? And then you just hear this Smash shit happen. And I know what it is now. I know what it's referencing. But at the time, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I didn't even see on the side the logo and whatnot. But and then later on, they showed what the logo was. And immediately I saw it's like, Battletoads! Oh, fuck. Finally, we're going to get a Battletoads game. It looks like it's going to be a 2D kind of side-scrolling game. So, yeah, we're going to get Battletoads again. So, I'm intrigued to see how that turns out. But there you go. So, yeah, I'm disappointed that no Banjo, but... yeah, the fucking that, yeah. So I'm kind of happy. Then they announced Just Cause 4 is coming out, so you know, it's another Just Cause game, so more chaotic fun. Okay, and then here comes the biggest troll I have ever seen happen in E3 history. So then, when you're watching this, then you see the Gears of War logo shows up, and I'm like, okay, so this is the Gears of War game coming out. And all of a sudden you see this Funko Pop pop up, and I'm like, wait, what? And there's like these Funko Pop characters. I'm like, oh, God. And it turns out to be a mobile game coming out called Gears Pop. Which I had, like, Pop has become so much of a fucking cultural thing now that it's just become infused within this game culture, which is, like, fucking weird. But there you go. And then they kind of announced another game coming on mobile, which is, like, Commands or something like that. I don't know. It's another mobile game. So everyone kind of was like, oh, there's just a lot of mobile games coming out. And then they're like, and here's our new Gears 5 coming out. And I'm just like, oh, boy. So this is where it would kind of come into play. I'm like, oh, so this is where it is. It looks like it's emphasizing more of the female character. Something happening there. Some shit's going down, apparently. I'm not sure when this is taking place exactly, but there's like weird monsters and shit going on. So there you go. And then this is where I've kind of got disappointed that there was nothing else later on. But then, of course, like any other E3 or whatever, there's always that, oh wait, there's one more thing kind of announcement. So as he was about to announce, or as he was about to kind of like give his spiel about how Xbox is still making games, and they kind of also hinted that there's a new console in the works. So it's like, even the new console's coming out. So I'm like, okay, so they're already working on the new console. So we most likely will see what it is next year. Probably, or some rumors. So they just kind of like confirmation say like, yep, we're making it. So don't worry. So then they were talking about that, blah, 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 blah. And then they're like, oh, thank you. And then all of a sudden it just starts to glitch the fuck out. And then everything's just like red and whatnot. And I'm just like, what the hell is this? And it's like world premiere. And at first I didn't realize what this was, because there was like, you know, they had little clues within the coding and all that stuff. And even the guy's like, it's 2077 and my city has been voted the worst in her kind. I'm not like, what the fuck is this? And it wasn't until I saw CD Projekt Red, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I know what this is. And it's the new Cyberpunk 2077. Now, the game is not... Apparently, they have a playable demo, but they're very secretive of it. So what they did was they had a live presentation in closed doors to show off the gameplay to the press. And from what people have said, this is going to be one of those big ambition stuff. So, there's that. And then I got disappointed because no banjo, so, poor Grim. So yeah, though that's what happened there. Again, all these videos are going to be basically showing off my views, my live reactions, as it were, as it happens. So, just imagine that. No, shut up, you. Okay, so now let's talk about Bethesda when they came into the works. Right, so their theme this year was, I think, create, but I feel like it should be more, this year's theme is cringe. Because, I don't know why, but it's like they kind of force cringed upon ourselves, right? But they're a very joking manner. So, you have one of the vice presidents coming out, the guy we've seen many times before when it comes to Bethesda. And he's like... the first game he was talking about was Rage 2, which was a surprise when that came out. And he was joking about how, you know, Walmart of Canada fucking blew their lid too early. And it's just like, you know, a game that was announced by our good friends at Walmart Canada, known for their great low prices and knowing how to keep a secret. So it's like they kind of are playing around with it. So it's like, yeah, so here's Rage 2 now. So we finally got some sort of gameplay kind of mixing with CGI. But let me talk about this one thing coming up. They had Andrew WK, I believe that's his name. Let me just see what his, I think they say. I'm Andrew WK. I think his name is Andrew WK. So this guy is a very energetic kind of rocker, and his song "Are You Ready to Die" is featured as the kind of theme to Rage 4 or Rage 2. Fuck, I'm already thinking that there's gonna be like 2 more Give these games. So he does a live concert performance, and the problem of this is that he's very energetic. Like, he's trying to be all great and happy, and then, like, you know, normally I think people would be excited about this, but then you get fucking pictures of the crowd, and they can give 0 fucks left about this whole thing. Oh, I forgot to mention, way back. Okay, so back. I forgot to mention EA. When I was watching this press conference, it was so bad that it kind of reminded me that this was like a press conference for the shareholders and not so much of the gamers. Yeah, so I just wanted to mention that. Okay, so back. Alright, so we're back at Bethesda. So they're talking about, they kind of showed off Andrew WK singing his heart out, you know. I think he also was the guy who was like the party song, I think. So he's very energetic. No one can give 2 shits. Also, they have that awkward... This is... Okay, whenever you do a press conference, never fucking do this. They did this thing where it's just like, and then we did this. Wait for an applause. No applause happened, so they're kind of waiting. And then I'm like, yeah, come on. It's just like, kind of like, it's cringy. Don't do that. Just keep on going on, and if they clap, then let them clap. But other than that, just don't fucking... So yeah, they do that, which is kind of cringy. And then they showed off the gameplay. And then there's this weird fucking scene. I have no idea why this is here. But then you have this weird fucking, like, singing grog type of fucking wall thing. And it's being advertised. And I don't know... Okay, I don't know if this is a fucking joke or this is real. But apparently it's like... You can download, like, a pre-order Rage 2 Collector's Edition. You know what? No. Fuck it. Hold on a second. Fuck it. I'm going to find out right now if this is true or not. Because, I need to find out. It is. Okay, fuck. Okay, so this is true, okay? So, they have this fucking Crusher talking head thing that they're advertising. So, within the goddamn fucking video, they're advertising a collector's edition. Like, why? So that is true. Oh my god. So that just makes this even worse. So they're advertising the goddamn game already. Oh my god. So, fuck that, right? So that happened. Then they talked about, like, the fucking mobile game Squinch or whatever the hell it is. To say, like, oh yeah, we still have this game on mobile that you should play, and it's cool, you should play it, and then, like, well, who cares? So then they talk about Elder Scrolls Online, that they're talking about new stuff coming on. I can care less because I don't know much about Elder Scrolls, but that happened. And then here comes something very interesting. Like, something I knew was going to come out of this whole thing. And that was the next Doom game. Because of how successful the Doom game was back in 2016, they finally announced that this next game is taking place on Earth, like Hell on Earth kind of deal. And I'm seeing this, like, nightmare, like, horror, and I'm just like, oh god. It's just like, you know, you have these demons having their field day, they're happy that, like, yeah, we took over the Earth, and then here comes the Doom guy, and they're like, oh, shit! And then they advertised, like, it's somewhat a little bit cringy, but not so much. But the guy is just like, you want to see Hell on Earth? It's like, yeah. I'm just like, well, you just already saw it. But, anyways. They're advertising or hyping up the fact that it's just like, you want badder guys? Well, we got badder guys. And you want Doom guy to feel more overpowered than he does? Well, we did it. It's like, good. Jesus. I can't wait to fucking be having, you know, Thor's Infinity Gauntlet on me and just blowing up fucking like demons. So there we go. So the next thing they talk about was Quake, which apparently, like, some of these announcements are like, we're not going to tell you all about this until QuakeCon, because I get it, they have their own stuff going on, but still, it's like, why even bother showing up if you're gonna just not kind of do that? They kind of showed off some game. Is this game even out yet, or is this like, I really don't know. Like, they showed off some characters. I don't know if these are new or if this is like part of the, I don't fucking know anymore. This game has been out for a long time. Okay. The next thing that came up was something that we kind of figured was going to come out anyways, but surprisingly, I didn't even realize it was going to come out that day. And it was the announcement for DLC for Prey, which is called Moon Escape. And they have other stuff too, like a Gwench hunt, which is basically like you're playing as the alien creatures in this game. However, you're able to kind of copy an item and then just kind of pretend as if you're that item. So, like, if you ever played, what was that game in the online? Not the online game, but there was this one game. It was like fucking like using Steam assets. It's like Gary's mod. There's a game mode where it's like hide and seek, where you basically pretend to be an item and the characters have to find out who you are, you know, from hiding from a certain point. So it's like that basically with this one. And the Moon Escape is very intriguing concept. It's basically like you have one shot to go from beginning to end to beat this series and get off the moon. And if you die, you go all the way back. But this time, the game is reset itself so that every playthrough is unique and different. So there's no way, there's like no one way of beating this. So they always change the reaction. So it's like you go from this game to be like, oh, I died, so go back and try to do this next thing. But oh shit, now there's fire in this area than it wasn't before. So they kind of just, it's like really interesting. While they were playing the music, you spin your right round. So that's interesting. There's this cute, like, weird moment where it's like this girl, it's just like, I'm not a mimic, and it's like, oh, hold on. He writes down, not a mimic on here. And then she said something along the lines, is like, whatever, you don't know who it is. And then all of a sudden the tape just falls down from her, and I'm like, oh no! She is a mimic! But anyways, you know, that shit is like there. Yeah, and then they talk about, there is now, you know how Wolfenstein had a game like Old Blood? Well, now there's another game coming out, like a little like a series prequel to, like, DLC series, new game coming out called Young Blood. And this one's is taking place as you are playing as the main character's twin daughters. So that's going to be unique. And you're basically in Paris. And apparently, he hasn't succeeded in killing the Nazis because apparently, you know. So there's like, this is like a co-op, so that's kind of cool to see. They talk about, there's another thing called Cyber Pilot, which is like a VR thing coming out. Or something that came out, I don't know. It's supposed to be like, you're controlling the actual robots and whatnot. So, there's that. And then, of course, the man, the myth, the hour, people who they come to see this show for, Todd fucking Howard pops in. And he's like, yep, you're here because of me, the god, the meme. Like, he's slowly ascending himself to meme culture. Which is something he should never do, but there he goes. So then they go off and show off this trailer, which is like Skyrim, the very special edition. Where they had Keel, that guy from who was previously, you know, there's, you know, the guy I'm talking about, the guy from Mad TV at one point. He was there to kind of like do this funny thing. Apparently, it's basically Skyrim, but playing on your Amazon Echo. Or whatever her name is, Siri or whatever. I don't know what you mean. You know what I mean, the fucking stupid-ass home thing. And apparently, I thought that was a joke, especially near the end. It's like, oh, coming soon, the Exo-Sketch, and pagers, and your Samsung smart fridge. And I'm like, that's funny. And like, they're taking the piss out of themselves. But, oh, apparently, no. the special edition for your fucking home device thing, like they're advertising. No, that's a real thing apparently. No, that apparently is real. You can download the shit now and play it. I thought that was a joke, but no, it's real. So yeah. So then now they talk more about Fallout 77. They talk about that this is an MMO game. However, the story of it is unique because you're from a vault that nothing happens. The reason why you're exiting out of Vault 76 is because it was scheduled that you're there for a few days, you're there for a few years, and then after a year, it opens and you can leave. So that's what happened. People just, walked off and did their own shit. So you play as your own unique character who happened to slept in because he partied too hard. And then he exits out to the open world. And basically, you're in West Virginia. And this is basically, the Fallout happened, and now it's your whole thing of rebuilding, basically. So they've kind of taken what happened in Fallout 4 and made it a bit better. So this is a mod of sorts, but like online kind of deal. And they've added new stuff, like they've added remote play and all that. And it's like, although you could technically play it by yourself, the whole game gimmick is that you have to play it online. They even joke about like they were going to release a beta, or what we like breaking the game testing, like breaking the game before entering its testing phase or whatever you call it. Like they joked about this. And they also announced that there is live nukes in the game. like yes, there is ways that you can fuck everyone up if you happen to have all the keys. Go to a bomb facility, basically go like, I want to nuke this asshole area, and then you can fucking blow the shit up. Now, from what I understand, this will only work if you're online. So from what I understand is if you made a city and say you leave, then that city will not be in that server until you come back out. And the way they kind of do this is that you're on multiple servers, so they kind of seamlessly goes into one to the other. So that's somewhat intriguing, but at the same time, I'm wondering how that fucking will work. But yeah, so they just kind of talked about that. It's coming out this year, which is like obvious at this point. Then they talk about a Skyrim mobile game, but the fact it's so cool that you could play it like sideways or actually phone-wise. And then they were joking about how it's like, oh, you can use it you could play the phone game with your one hand, so you can have the other hand doing other things. And it's just like, like holding your coffee. You're like, what the hell's wrong with you? And then they're advertising like, so you could technically go in your boardroom meeting and play your game while they're not knowing, and then playing it with a guy who's on the VR for some reason. So yeah, so there you go. And it's like, it's for free, but it's going to be microtransactions, because looking at it, let me just see if I can get a good picture at this. Yeah, okay, hold on. Okay, so there's like two things. There's like coins, and then there's like gems. The gems are most likely the real currency that costs money. So we'll see what ends up happening. And then they basically went ahead and ended the show off by basically showing off CGI trailers to two games coming in probably the next console generation. One of them was a game that people knew was coming, which was called Starfield. They still have no idea what the fuck it is, but they've have confirmation now that this game is real. And then of course they're like Skyrim, Elder Scrolls 6. So there's that. So yeah, a bunch of stuff happened. It was very cringy. I don't know if they did that on purpose, but they did it. Let me talk about this real quick. Devolver Digital decided to go ahead and do this thing again, but oh my god, is it fucking hilarious. Oh, this year though, they pointed out the fact that last year they didn't really show new games, so what they did was they showed 3 new games. One of them was called Scum 2, which looks like this weird, interesting game. Then you have another game called My Friend Pedro, which is a shooter game, but it's so unique because it's a shooter game that uses physics almost. Like, There's a scene where the guy shoots up this pan, and he's shooting the pan, and the bullets are flying all over the place. So it's like, holy shit, like, this is getting really fun and intriguing. And then the last game they showed off was Metal Gear, Metal Wolf, I forgot what the hell it's called, Metal Wolf something. It was an old game that was infamous, like, it was a robot game, but it was infamous for being so badly translated. And of course, it seems like this is either a redone version of this, or it was a new game. But by the sounds of it, it's still going to be, like, they purposely make this as corny as possible. Like, oh, sweet Jesus. So yeah, that's going to end up happening there. Then Square Enix happened, and they came and went with their showcase. Nothing really to say about, for them, really. No, I can really give two shits less, because...
Wow.
Not shut up, you. They basically, like, showed nothing. It was like, I made a joke. Basically, to summarize it, they're like, welcome to the E3 showcase. And then it's like, thanks for watching. And then that's it. That's literally it. They didn't really show a whole lot of anything. The one game that they did show that looked interesting was, it was called... It was called The Silent Man. Like, that was the only new game that kind of showed off that I could remember that actually seemed like, oh, that's interesting. They kind of went on and talked about some of the games they showed off, and they showed off Kingdom Hearts again, except the other thing, too, is that they showed these trailers, yet they didn't have any acting in there. Like, they didn't have any, like, actual sound effects, so it sounded very awkward that all of a sudden you're just like, look out! Ugh! Like, no sound effects at all, and I'm just like, why did you do this? Like, hear the song, like, I don't care. It would be more dramatic if you had the sound effects in there, but whatever. So yeah, then the Silent Man, though, game, it's weird because they're like, we'll announce it later on this summer. And it's like, then why the fuck did you bother talking about it now? It was basically, why even bother showing up? Because most of their announcements have been announced before, and it's like, whatever. Alright, so then we get to Ubisoft. And, my god, Ubisoft certainly did not disappoint with some of the cringe. It first starts off with, of course, the announcement of Just Dance. And they couldn't just... like, Dance Party! Yeah, no, they couldn't just announce, like, oh yeah, Dance 4 comes out. No, they instead had to show this clip of this fucking guy in a panda suit dancing... Like, you know, all the cringe already, yeah. It's so fucking weird. It's like a weird mesmerizing cringe video watching this. It's just so weird. And then it shows like live action, like, oh yeah, here they come live, and, you know, more of the people they show off here are a little bit more energetic, so good on them, but my god, like, Jesus. I was kind of hoping that fucking, that one chick from before would come out from that panda suit, but no, apparently not. They decided to go on with like what they did last year and kind of been more whatever. Then they showed more CGI trailers for the Beyond Good and Evil. Apparently this is supposed to be like a prequel, and what's weird about it is that they showed off the main character you played as from the first game, and she's now a villain. And I'm like, wait a minute. I thought this was originally a prequel. What the fuck is this? And then, you know, they were talking about this stuff. One of the other interesting things is that they were still talking about having the community help them kind of make this game into a thing. And one of the things they advertise is that they partnered up with this company that what they'll do is that, say you have artwork or music or anything like that, because they want to make the world that these guys are going to be inhabiting in feel more alive. So the way they're going to do that, they're going to have users submit their stuff like music or anything like that that you can hear in the background. So like you're walking and you hear some guy playing, some jackass playing on his fucking guitars like, yeah, and you just walk off and that's it. Yeah, it's stuff like that. And then, you know, your art being displayed like graffiti and all that. And it's kind of cool. Cool idea and concept. And yes, if they decide to go ahead and use your art, they will pay you for it. So that was one of the big things. Like, oh, they're just gonna mooch off of other people's stuff. It's like, no, they will pay you for your services. So it won't be a whole lot, but it'll be something. So there you go. So, and okay, so this is the first time this happened, but Ubisoft is a bit cringy because of the what I like to call a hot mic. Now you might be saying to yourself, what the hell is a hot mic? Well, let me tell you. It is a term which means that a microphone that is on when it's not supposed to be. And the guy who was ever doing the audio and switching of stuff is doing a terrible job, because it's this weird, adorable thing that happened where the guys are walking off and you hear this girl and she's like, "We nailed it, guys, we nailed it," and I'm just like, wow, okay. Like, it's like, wow. And there's a bunch of stuff like that. Just like, you know, the screen pauses for a long period of time and you hear a guy's just like, dude, switch to the next thing. And it's just like, oh, come on. That is so bad. There's a bunch of scenes like that. Like, really, like, ooh, cringe. Yeah, so they talked about that. Then they talked about Rainbow Six Siege. Nothing really about the fact that, oh yeah, people played, you know, that game before. And what's intriguing about it is that they're like, oh, we're releasing this documentary. And I'm just like, oh, are you going to include Wings of Redemption in there? And it's like, no. And I'm just like, oh, well, then I don't care. Because, you know, as we all know, Wings is all about the fucking Call of Duties and Rainbow Six. And, you know, and the meme-age of this year. I feel sorry for that guy. This fucking documentary called Another Mindset, which, you know, I can give two shits less because I don't know any of these fucking people. Apparently it's releasing in 6 Major Paris, which is going to be on the... Wait, hold on. Go back a second. Okay, hold on. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I didn't pay attention to this. Let me just see this real quick if I'm seeing this correctly. Okay, I misread that. I thought it was like coming soon 13/19/2018. I'm just like, wait a minute, there's no fucking month like that goes over 13. But no, it's August 13th to 19th. Okay, so like I saw that. I thought, wait, did I miss something? I'm like, no, apparently I didn't. So, and then of course we get the good old Finland guy coming in with his fucking motorcycle, Evil Knievel, my motorcycle, the release that they're making a new Trials game. And of course he had to cringe it up by kind of coming in there like, oh yeah, I'm so cool. And then they have this fake TV set there and he goes, oh, and he trips over and he's just like pulling the Peter Family Guy kind of type of thing. And I'm just like, oh. And then after the trailer you have these guys cleaning up the thing and there's like, oh, sorry about that. I'm like, oh. Like, I get it, why they did it, but at the same time, I'm like, don't. They then they then talked to a guy who did a YouTube channel called, like, what do you call it, fucking... He does his, like, college course for, like, Trials, like, how to beat the game or using stuff, so they it was kind of nice to see that they used this guy. It's just like, yeah, he did this YouTube thing, so let's have him kind of come up here and talk about this with us. So I was like, that's kind of cool. But, yeah, no, this looks fun. I remember playing Trials when it first came out, and oh my god, this, like, looks fucking hilarious. Just because of the amount of shit of crashes that you can go into, like, it's almost like Jackass level of, like, extreme going on here. Like, Jesus. Like, why aren't they dead? Then they talk about, you know, what we knew about with the Division, but except they didn't talk about the actual gameplay. They just kind of showed off CGI trailers, so that's nice. Their whole thing was just completely nothing. But, yeah, I don't care. Come on, next thing. More CGI trailers, like, fuck off. Oh, alright, and then they wanted to announce that, oh yeah, we have this new DLC coming to Rabbids called Donkey Kong. So in order to celebrate this, we'll actually have Grant Kirkhoff come live on stage and actually kind of orchestrate this music while we play CGI footage for you. And I'm like, that's kind of interesting to see this happening. At the same time, it's kind of weird, but it wasn't as cringy as it sounds. The only cringy of these like songs actually came from Bethesda. Other than that, all these other ones actually did pretty well when it comes to actually doing this pretty much right. Though it took a long time for them to just kind of bring the stuff out and then bring it back inside. The fuck happened there? I had my video pop up and yeah, oops, it crashed. No shit, it crashed. Open the fucking thing back up again, assholes. No, I don't want to hear myself. Alright. I want to see, I want to make sure. Oh yeah, the next thing is like, piracy is dead. That they are actually going to show off the game they teased last year, which was... Yeah, no, I don't care. Fuck off. There was a game that came up called Skull and Bones, which is basically aka Assassin's Creed 4 Pirate Ship the game. Where it looks like it's mostly just going to be ship battles and all that, so that's like, that's kind of nice. So there's that, I guess. I have no idea. It looks like you're controlling one group of people, so it's not like how Sea of Thieves is kind of playing it. So there you go. And then we get Elijah Wood come out talking about the game that was really intriguing this year, and it still is, and it's called Transference. And they actually show us gameplay as well as actual footage of this game. It's very much a psychological horror, and it's really intriguing. So he comes out basically saying that the game is coming out this year on the VR sets, but then he also says on other platforms, which makes me believe that this is a game that is meant to be played on VR. However, they're going to also release it as is, so you can play the game without VR. And I feel like they're doing this because they know they can make their money back if they don't. Because VR, I'm sorry, but it's too fucking expensive. Sorry, it's too fucking expensive. If you can do something like Oculus for like $200, then it will fucking be blowing up like wildfire. But oh no. It's so inconvenient. Sorry. So, yeah, so he just kind of showed off that this was a thing. It looks very intriguing. Though I will say he kind of screwed himself up a little bit because he was like, in Transference, no. In Transference, it's just like he took 3 times to fucking say what he was trying to say. Which was like, oh. But, you know, good on him for actually trying to do something. But, yeah, this looks very intriguing. It looks like you're trying to go into the memory of this family. And for some reason, I think the father is like this engineer who's made this kind of downloadable thing. And you're starting to slowly see that it's him interfering with the mind and trying to hide something that happened. And it starts to become like it's very much horror-inducing. And then we get Star whatever, the fucking toy space game coming up. It's like Star whatever, the battle for Atlas. Sorry. Atlas. But the guy who's talking always calls it like Atlas. You know, like Steph said, you know, here's the Ubisoft presentation. They go, here's Ubisoft. Like, no, it's not Ubisoft, it's Ubisoft. Not much like it's Atlas instead of Atlas. With this guy. So they talk about this stuff like, oh yeah, this game's coming out this... Oh, Starlink, that's what it's called. Battle for Atlas. So the guy's talking, he's like, blah, 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 blah. Here's his new game, it has toys, blah, 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 blah. It sounds like you can actually play the game without using said toys, so that's kind of cool, I guess. So that was the problem with fucking being whatever. But it's like, they decided to pull... Because of how successful Mario and Rabbids were, they kind of pulled the Spyro of Skylanders situation, where they're like, you know, you're watching the trailer, and they're like, whatever, it's a game, I'm not interested in it. Oh, by the way, there's Star Fox in the game. oh, now I want it. Yeah, no. So they made the announcement that Star Fox is, or Fox McCloud from Star Fox is going to be a playable character within this game. Only for Nintendo, by the way. Only for Nintendo. That's the gimmick. It's like, you could play these characters, but only on Nintendo's platform. So it's like, well, we know what platform will be successful for this game then. So that announcement alone made me kind of like, okay, now I want to just play it for the weird factor of just having Star Fox in there. And of course, they said like, oh, here's Miyamoto. And it's just like, yeah, here we go again. With Miyamoto kind of showing this off. And then they showed off, there's this new downloadable content for Honor, which is a game that's probably dead by now. I'm still surprised they're even doing DLC for this fucking game because of how dead it is. But there you go. They've decided to do what looked like Chinese culture, Asian culture, into this now. Which I can care less because I thought it was like same as Samurai. No, apparently not. So, there you go. We got Knights, we got Vikings, then we got Asian. Cool. Very cool. Don't care. And then they comes The Crew 2, which is a game that's about racing and cars and doing shit that I can give zero fucks about. And then they talked about the last game they kind of hyped up about, which was the Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is talking about going into like ancient Greece kind of mythos, where you play as either a boy or a girl. And this is basically like the new kind of Assassin's Creed now. It's no longer what it used to be. Now it's this. So that's interesting. Sadly, as I would say, that was interesting. So then we have two more. No. Shut up, me. So let's move on to the next one. The second one. The most. Here comes the next day. It's coming to E3 day. Let's talk about the two fucking disappointing ones I have ever fucking seen in my entire life. So, we go to the Sony's E3 press conference, right? So as we are watching this, or as I'm watching this, they start off in this weird tent-like church thing, right? And you got the president there talking about how, oh, we are doing this weird thing here. And then you have this guy in the banjo kind of playing his song, going like, and like, yeah, that's cool and everything. And already when I'm seeing this, I'm like, this is for Last of Us 2, isn't it? And then as soon as they have that done, it's like, yep, it's Atlas 2 with Ellie, whoever your name is, being as gay as ever, kissing this girl and showing off some fake gameplay. This gameplay that looks too good to be gameplay, and it turns out to be, oh no, it's CGI gameplay. That's cool. So we finally got some CGI gameplay, so that's great. It's so bad too. It's like, how do I smell? Why? No, don't do that. So they showed this off, and it's interesting enough. And it's like, it showed this off for a good 10 minutes or so, right? It's like 20 minutes of this. It's like kind of cool. And then, here comes the best fucking thing out of this whole E3 conference. The goddamn pre-show. Because it turns out that this year's E3 is not taking place in one themed area that is for the Last of Us thing. Oh no. Instead, they had to move everyone from that fucking theater all the way over to the real theater where they're showing all the other stuff. It's like, why in the fuck did you do that? That is the most heinous, stupid shit I have ever seen. Coming from a goddamn company. You went from 2006 being great, like games, announcement, games, like great, good job, you won that year. Next year, 2007, did the same shit. So it was alright, but it wasn't great. This year you decided to do something new, and it fucking blew up in your face. And they were like, we're only focusing on 4 major games, and everything else is just fuck it. You know, that's it. That's all we're gonna do. Fuck it. But I was too pissed off at this point that I care, and I'm gonna spoil this for you guys. I'm going to be releasing this as they were supposed to be showing, but here's the thing. I saw Nintendo's press conference before I showed PlayStation. So I got pissed off at this point because I just went from watching Nintendo and now I'm watching Sony and I'm getting this shit. But oh my god, rewatching my misery was making me laugh. So get to enjoy that stuff when that pops into my other channel there. So this ends up happening. He talks a bunch of stuff. You got this guy and Baldy, Cringy McCringe here and Baldy over here talking about stupid shit I don't care about. And then they showed off trailers that they kind of showed off before, like the road to E3, but they showed it again for no apparent reason. They showed off that, Battlefield, the fucking Call of Duty game is coming out with this new fucking thing that no one will care, so that's cool. That it's like, pre-order this game and you get 4 Black Ops maps returning. Now, when I was talking about this, I said I fucking give shit less. But I was showing off this stuff to my brother, my reactions, because he was laughing as well. But when he used to like playing Call of Duty, right? He doesn't do that anymore because he grew out of it and it got terrible since then. But he was watching this when it came to the Black Ops session, and all 4 of these, he's like, oh shit, these things are coming back? So apparently Jungle, Ruin, Target, all those 4 maps were probably one of the best maps according to people who like Black Ops. So they got that going for them, but still, whatever. And then they showed off their fucking trailers again. The only trailers that kind of came out, like they had Beat Sabers, which was like, it looks interesting, but I can give 2 fucks less. But the one game that popped out that only seemed to interest me was apparently what they said was the creator of FE, which is like, I thought that game was released earlier this year. So they already made a new game, and it's called Ghost Giant. And it's like this weird Animal Crossing meets Night in the Woods kind of game, where you play as... It's like that game that came out last year about the mouse, and you're helping the mouse do the adventures, and it's like that game. I don't know what it's called, but it's like you are the giant that will help it. But apparently you're just helping the villagers. I don't fucking know. It looks very intriguing. I would want to see that. And then, of course, at this point, I got pissed off. So I'm just like, maybe we got one more to show off before we go to the thing. And they're like, yeah, you did go off with this thing. And then, of course, they show off the new DLC for what was it called? I'm sorry, I'm just laughing because it's just like, fuck. No, it's not what it's called. Come on, let me just find out what it's called. No, fuck off. Destiny 2, yeah. So Destiny decided to show off a card called The Forsaken, and my god, how fucking appropriate is this? Especially with one of the scenes. I'm watching this, I'm pissed off. I didn't even pay attention to this. But this is such great fucking symbolism. When you hear, to let things just die, and then you hear, and then that robot character got shot in the fucking face. And I'm just like, yeah, you know what? This is the great analogy. This is Bungie Activision taking the gun to this fucking game series and shooting it in the head because they did such a shitty fucking job with this game coming out that nobody wants to play with it. Nobody. They fucking pissed people off so much that even the people who like Destiny said, fuck it, we're not playing this game no more. So now it's like, why even bother advertising this game when your game is pretty much fucking dead in the water because of your fucking microtransaction greedy fuckingness. But the whole reaction that I said here was just kind of funny to see my misery, but I love it. Just this appropriate song to add to that, to let things just die. Oh, no one cares. So we finally get to the scene, and of course, what are we greeted to when we come in? Another fucking jackass playing a flute. And I'm like, oh my god, fuck. Why? But then this leads to Sucker Punch's new game that they're coming out. And it's called... I'm trying to find out what it's fucking called exactly. It looks very interesting. It's like a samurai game. No. Ghosts of Tsushima. It's very interesting. It's like Sucker Punch. And I'm like, oh, so that's what these guys been doing after they made Sly Cooper, which, you know, should still be made. I know, I'm a platformer guy. I'm sorry. So you got that. And, what was weird... like, that game looked very interesting, to say the least. Now... it's very story-driven, I would say, especially very dramatic. But one thing I will say, while I was playing this, when I was watching this, what I noticed was I was listening in, and the guy's like saying something, and the girl's saying something, and I'm like, wait a minute, she's on the left, but I'm hearing it on the right. It was like, did I hear my earplugs? And I'm looking at my earplugs, it's like, nope, it's on the right side. So they fucked up the audio, where they swap left from right and right to left. It's like, wow. Very inconvenient. I'm sure no one would ever point this out, but that's what ended up happening here when I was watching this. And throughout the show... they've been showing off, teasing about Dreams, which is the new Molecule game. The guys who made Little Big Planet and Unfolded, which is, I believe, coming out very soon. But it looks very intriguing. But yeah, they were showing off some fun little things with like bananas playing guitars and stuff like that. But whatever. And then there's this other weird kind of fucking Insidious, or this Insomnia game where it's like the mind going into the mind type of game. Weird fucking game. I don't know what it's called exactly. Let's just see what this is. Give me the goddamn fucking name, please. Control, that's what it's called. So that was interesting. Then we get this weird fucking shot of this rat playing this thing. I'm just like, what is this? It's like this weird stuff. Then we get to see the rat dying, right? And then you see this guy eating the thing, and I'm just like, oh, wait a minute, is this Wolf Cop? I'm like, I don't know why I thought that, but I'm like, I see dark guy, like, I guess I saw the movie Wolf Cop, and I swear to God, the fucking zombie at that angle looked like him, and I'm just like, wait a minute, is this a Wolf Cop game? But then I'm looking at him like, oh wait, no, it's a zombie, and then he got shot, and then that's when I realized, oh wait, this is Resident Evil 2, and it's like, and then you see Leon, and it's like, yep, it's Resident Evil 2. So this is literally a rework of this game, which will look very intriguing, to say the least, so that will be somewhat interesting. And then we got the guy who made Rick and Morty. Yeah, backed up guy. He made a new game. It looks like a game that might be interesting to play just because it's a platformer, so it looks like it's going to be... like, it's like it's a Rick and Morty game. That's what it is, because Rick and Morty is like going into different dimensions, so why not? I mean, if you like Kristen Roland's humor, then you're gonna like this game, because it's basically that. It's like all these other games are basically the same fucking thing. And then they showed off goddamn Kingdom Hearts 3 again, but this time they showed new gameplay, which was with Pirates of the Caribbean's coming back. So that's interesting. And I will say, the guy who they impersonate as Jack Sparrow has done a really good job, because it sounds like him. Not like the other game, which is like very crappy. The one thing I will say though, they also, when Square Enix was showing off their trailer again, they showed off the Microsoft trailer, but this time they kind of showed off a little bit more pieces, like, oh, there's a Ratatouille section, and then there's this. And I'm just like, why? Like, it's almost like, why even bother? But I already talked about this. So yeah, they showed off more of this stupid Kingdom Hearts trailer. Oh, and then they got to show baby butt with baby kind of giving the thumbs up. And yeah, of course, this is fucking yeah, and I'm doing the baby thumbs up type of thing. That was weird. Like, why? I didn't need to see that, Kojima. But yeah, this is the game Death Stranding. more gameplay. So it's like, we finally got to see some gameplay and a little bit of the story, and I still don't know what the fuck it is. It looks so weird. All I can understand is that this is some weird fucking limbo place. I'm assuming that this is a limbo place. That's only I'm assuming because of how fucking bizarre this is. It doesn't show anything except for the fact that, oh yeah, there's, like, he's walking with packages, walking with weird human packages. And it's this weird stuff. And then he has this baby fetus and this weird light thing that shows off these creatures that's floating. Like, it's invisible, but it's floating in midair. Like, yeah. I have no idea with this fucking game. It's Kojima. It's mindfuck. What do you expect? And then out of nowhere, Neo came out recently last year, and then they announced, oh, wait a minute, so that's what Team Ninja is. Alright, well, whatever. So they've announced that Neo 2 is coming out, and I'm just like, oh, interesting. That's very fast. And then the last game they showed off was fucking Spider-Man, the Spider-Man game coming out from Insomniac, which looks very interesting. It looks like it's going to be maybe like Spider-Man 2, hopefully, but we'll see. I mean, it looks like this game is going to be more fun than they did with the other Spider-Man games. It looks like, but I'm not too sure. But of course, they kind of showed off the Sinister 5 there, and then they're like, no, it's you! And then it's like, you don't know who it is, but it's like, I know who it is. It's fucking Goblin. I mean, who else is it going to be? I mean, like, oh, we got these new weird fucking things. It's just like, what? Like, Oscorp. Like, who runs Oscorp? Oh, yeah. It's like, no shit. I might be surprised. It might be like, oh, no, it's not him at all. It's this other Marvel character you never even knew was there. Because that's possible, because Spider-Man has crossed over with other characters, so maybe it's somewhere there. I'm not sure. It's Tony Stark. He was the one who did this whole thing, because he was pissed off. I don't know. Very weird. But yeah, that was the end of the showcase. I was kind of pissed off at that point. And then, what I was greeted with was like a lot of... yeah, because their mics were still on, and I'm like, nice noises! And then they're like talking, and then that stuff happened. So it's like good to know. And last but not least, let's talk about Nintendo. Nintendo, no, shut up, you. Nintendo is certainly interesting because it has a lot to talk about. So let's quickly talk about this. So the first game they showed off during this Direct was a game called Deus Ex Machina. And I'm like, oh, you're very punny, aren't you? Because it's supposed to reference, like, it's 2 words, or 3 words, but it's supposed to, like, reference an actual Deus Ex Machina, which is what it means, but I've heard of it before, but it's like, whatever. So, yeah, so that's coming next year. It looks interesting. Then there's a game advertised, like, the year was 364. And then it's DLC for, the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 game, aka the Swords of Anime Girls, the game. So that's interesting. Then you get Reggie talking about fucking Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, which we already know. The only difference is they kind of were like, oh, if you buy this new toy that we kind of wanted you to go get for this one game only, and that's it, you get Mew. Yep. That's all you get. And then here comes the biggest shock for me, which pissed me off, but then at the end I'm kind of like, look, I was basically triggered, was what it was. I'm watching this commercial, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna do it, like doing this weird shit. I'm just like, what the hell is this? This is not Mario Party, is it? And then of course they show Mario Party, and then I'm like, no, like triggered, because it's like, the other Mario Party games that came out at 9, all that other stuff, were garbage. Like, Mario Party 9, garbage. The fucking 3DS games, garbage. The fucking 10, garbage. All garbage. So then you get this game, which is called Super Mario Party. And it's supposed to be like, oh, we're going back to our roots. We're making our game more better. We swear. We're going back to the original stuff. And the gimmicks in this one looks interesting. It looks better than the gimmicks of the other games. So I will give them that. Who the fuck keeps on messing? Oh my god. There's like a bunch of people do that. Why am I getting messages? Why am I so fucking popular? Anyways. So yeah, this game kind of shows off. The one interesting thing is that you can make your map, like if you have more than 2 switches, you can make maps out of them, so that's unique, I guess. So yeah, spoiler alert, this is the only third-party game they showed off at E3, so yay, hope you're happy. You're not? Oh, too bad. Okay, I lied. They also showed off what I'm going to be calling... I don't even know if this is the official name for the game, because I don't think it is, because of the way the font looks very off. I think it's just the code name, but it's called Fire Emblem Three Houses. And it's a Fire Emblem game. I haven't played the other Fire Emblems, so I can't tell you if it's good or not, but it's, you know, it's a game. It's coming out spring 2019, so of course, there's that. Then they announced Fortnite. And then, of course, they showed off teenagers in high school playing this game. It's like, yeah, they know the demographics. So they were like, yeah, it's coming out to Fortnite. Yep. It's coming, by the way. Yeah, it's there. Good for us, right? You knew this was going to come out. In fact, so much so, when people were happy when this game came out, and they did this thing, they found out Sony was not playing ball, and they were being fucking dickheads. So... spoiler alert for fucking Sony, they're going to be the ones that's going to be losing next year. And Microsoft is going to be the one that wins. Because they were being very anti-consumer. It makes sense business-wise of what they're doing, but very anti-consumer. I might touch up on that story maybe in the near future, but for now, all you need to know is that they're like, oh, I played my game on PS4, but I want to play the game on this new Switch thing. Oh, sorry, you can't do that. You're going to have to make a new account. And you're like, why? Because Sony doesn't want you to spend your money on other consoles and then play it on their system. They want you to spend money on their system so they can go fuck themselves. So, congratulations, Sony. You just pissed off all the people. So now it's like, play this game on any other platform with anybody else. Nope, not anymore. They're going to play on other systems. PCs mostly. So, thank you. You just ruined your own fucking profit there. Makes sense business-wise. I'm not going to blame you on that. I mean, you're on top. Why should you care? But it's going to hurt you next year for sure. Or your next generations, as I... coming up very soon. You know, just saying. So yeah, so they announced that it's coming out this year free, which is surprises nobody. You know. Then Reggie talks about Reggie stuff. He talks about how there's the indie game Overcooked 2 coming out, which we knew. And then he showed off some stuff like new indie games coming out, like Hollow Knight, which is cool. I have that game on the PC, and that might be a game I might play later on in life, but maybe not. I'm not sure. Then they advertised more games coming out. You know, Paladin's out now. I'm going to talk about this real quick, because during this, when they're showing off these games coming out, like coming soon this year, 2 games popped up that I was pissed off about, that they kind of flushed it out of the rugs, which I'm going to talk about right after this. And then they come across with Smash Brothers. And then they're like, let's talk about the characters that are coming out this year. And they're like, as you notice, there's a number where basically these characters, like the number indicates the order appearance in the series, right? So it's like, here are the characters coming out for this new game that's popping in. And they're like, there's Bowser, there's Fox and Falco, there's this, there's that, there's this and that, this and that, and that, and that, and then it's like, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, everybody's here. That's right, for the first time ever, this is going to be the last fucking game for Smash ever. It's called Smash Brothers Ultimate, and it will have all the fucking Smash. So, no longer are you going to be the ones like, I like this version better. No, I like this version better. No. Now there's only one. Switch. It is now the superior version. It has all the characters you want. Tough shit. Too bad. So he definitely put some effort into this whole thing, and it is definitely a new game, but it is a new game using very old assets. So it is a weird Frankenstein monster, which I figured was going to be the case. Except there were some disappointments. I'll go ahead, and now the "everyone is here" meme is basically is now being used against Nintendo negatively. And that was because they kind of like shows off there's new assist trophies. One of them being Bomberman. Yep, Bomberman's an assist trophy. He's not a playable character. No, assist trophy. You know who also is an assist trophy? Yep. Waluigi is still an assist trophy, despite Daisy now being as a playable character as an Echo character, which are now characters that they're calling basically reskins characters that play much of the similar of other characters. So, congratulations, you pissed people off with that. And so Daisy got announced. The Inklings, they show off a little bit more about that. In fact, I would willing to say Nintendo Direct E3 2018. Let me rechange that. Smash Brothers Direct 2018. There you go. Because I shit you not, for the last 20 minutes, this whole thing was talking about fucking Smash. And my god, they talked so much shit about Smash that it was like the littlest of details. Like, and when you're playing as Olimar, when he gets hit, there's cracks on his surface. But don't worry, as soon as you get back up, it's all gone. It's like, why do I need to know this now, Nintendo? Why? Why do I need to know this? You know why? Because they got fuck all games. Just got Smash and Mario. That's it. That's all you get. Don't like it? Fuck you. Too bad. That's all they gotta bring in for E3. And I know that they'll announce other stuff when they need to. This is not the only Direct this year. There's going to be more. I know that. But fuck off, Nintendo. Really, go fuck yourself. This is weak sauce. Them announcing all this shit. But I will say this. They wanted to go with the memes. They want to go with the memes. They were like, you know, they improved on a lot of these characters. They gave her eyeball. They gave the Wii Fit Trainer eyeballs finally. And you know what they also did? You know that meme character a lot of people were talking about, like, they talk about amiibos being functionable, as well as that, like, the GameCube controller is also being functionable because, you know, money. And then they're like, oh, by the way, there's this one last character we wanted to show off. And you watch the gameplay, right? You're watching this thing, and it looks like, you know, you have Mega Man, Mario, and Samus in what looks like a Darth Vader-like room. And then it goes into, like, horror alien territory where, one by one, Mega Man dies, and then Mario dies, and it's like, Samus is like, and he shoots over behind, and pop up, and guess who fucking it is? That's right, the character that he said was too fucking big to come on. Riley's now a playable character. Yep. And makes no fucking sense because he looks a lot smaller than he should be. I understand they're trying to make him kind of like squat down and make him look like that, but he looks like Bowser size. Like, no. He's like very skinny. Whatever. Yeah, so they announced Smash Brothers Ultimate. So, yeah, that happened, the thing. Also, apparently people were talking about how they made Samus's tits flat, so they were pissed off about that. That Samus now has pancake tits, as one person once called it. Alright, so let's talk about what I'm pissed off about, okay? When I came into this, I was expecting a little bit a lot, right? My fault, okay? Yeah. Stuff of rumors, yeah, okay. I was disappointed I didn't get to share anything of that nature. I understand that, right? I mean, Nintendo's like, we only show games when we're ready to show them. Okay. Then explain to me what happened last year. We are making Metroid Prime 4. That wasn't, that was no gameplay. That was just a trailer. That was just in the fucking logo. That's all you did. Last year. Fuck you, bullshit. Bullshit with your whole stupid, we don't show anything that we were... No, fuck you. Yes, you do. That's weak sauce, Nintendo. So, okay. Whatever. I understand that. Fine. I can respect it because Nintendo's the king of let balls, so... My bad for making me think that they were going to do something else. Silly me, right? But they decided to go ahead. Like, let's talk about the Yoshi game coming out. Nope. Next year. Oh, okay. No name for it? Nope, nothing about... Okay, cool. What about games you've already announced? Nope, nothing about that. Nope. Okay. Alright. That's interesting. Okay, let's talk about the games you fucking announced, shall we? 2 games that were advertised that pissed me off. That Nintendo did fuck all about. But they kind of showed it off a little bit. The first one was the Octo expansion. When they were advertising about this a little bit, they were basically showing it off like Octo expansion coming summer of 2018. Only there was a problem with this. During the Splatoon event, the finals, as I should say, there was a trailer for this event coming up. And what happened? Oh yeah, it says it's releasing tomorrow evening. Fuck you. Really, go fuck yourself. You couldn't have barely put a minute, that minute fucking trailer in your goddamn press conference. No, we gotta save it for fucking the series that no one gives 2 shits about. You could have even gone on and said, as you know, there's this new expansion pack coming out with Splatoon, and we have some great news about it. Tune in during the whatever event to find out more information about this thing, like you did for Smash. But fuck, oh no, couldn't be bothered with that. So fuck you on that part. The other fucking thing, there's this new game come out by a small studio called Gung Ho, but it's exclusive for Switch, and it's called Nigila. They had a full trailer ready. They even had a fucking show floor. I'm talking about you come into a certain area in the building, into the showroom, and you're greeted with this big fucking display of this game. And it's like, when I looked at it, I'm like, wow, this looks so interesting. This looks like the next Splatoon. It's its own unique, wacky thing. It looks like something very Nintendo-y. But Nintendo gave 0 fucks about it. I can even understand if they showed maybe one during the treehouse thing they showed off like a little bit of a section talking about it, but no, fuck off. No, they didn't show fuck all about it. They pretend as if that thing didn't even existed, but it's there. In fact, I advise you, look up Nigila. Look it up and be very surprised of how much shit there is, and it is very interesting. In fact, from what I understand from people who played it, this is probably the next big multiplayer game that is going to be great for them to play. Once this game comes out, Splatoon 2 is going to be basically old news. That's how good this is. This is just the one mode, so I have no idea of the story and all that, and I understand it's not really fully there, or not all the stuff that they want to show off is there. But fucking nothing? Really, Nintendo? Cool. Yeah, so as you can tell, I was pissed off about that. So let's talk about let's talk about the awards, shall we? Let's end it off with some awards. And I've already started to pre-order some stuff, but I will say this, after Best Buy ended their points program, it's now become shit to pre-order any fucking thing. So it's like, why even bother anymore? Alright, let's talk about the awards, shall we? So let's talk about the most entertaining. Originally, I think I said I'm not gonna look back and remember all the things I've said, so I'm not going to bother. But you can check it out for yourself what I said. But some I was correct, some I wasn't. So, entertainment. I was thinking about this. I'm giving the award. Okay, so I'll give it this honorable mention because I didn't pretend to have these guys in here in the first place. And they were kind of just doing it for shitposts. So I'm giving some brownie points to Devolver Digital for being the most entertaining. So technically they would have won this stuff. But out of the 7 conferences, the main ones, I would give this to Ubisoft. Only because they were a little bit cringy, but it wasn't so much that it wasn't fun to watch. It wasn't too terrible, as I was to say. There was a lot of good moments in there. And a lot of surprises as well. So there's that. Let's talk about the most surprise. Let's talk about surprises, shall we? I am gonna give this. So the surprises is basically award goes to like companies that give out the most surprising announcements or stuff that I wasn't really aware of. That award is going to Xbox. Just because the way they displayed everything and the way they announced certain games as well as DLC, I was very surprised with. Yes, I would say Ubisoft had one game surprise, but other than that, I was more impressed with Xbox, the way they execute everything. So, there's that. I would say PS4 for surprises, but I would only say surprises if you were talking about like how bad it was. Then yes, I was very surprised on the conference for PS4 that they did. The Met Awards goes to a press conference I've watched I didn't really care about. Oh, before I forget, I also mentioned I didn't give 2 shits about the PC Awards press conference, and I still don't. All I will say, though, is that one thing that interests me out of nowhere is that there was this weird error that happened with them with the microphone. So the guy was like, oh, hold on, let me fix this. And he's hugging him close, and he's like, talk to my microphone in my chest right here. And the other one, there was this weird fucking duck guy. So, yeah, that's the only thing I'll mention about that. But, let's talk about meh. So, that will go to Square Enix. Just because they weren't good, but it wasn't bad. It was just there. In fact, if they were just gone, it would probably be for the best. So there you go. That's the meh. Let's talk about cringy. I'm giving the award to Bethesda. Now, cringy usually comes from being very embarrassing for doing something very stupid that I feel embarrassed about. I feel like Bethesda did this purpose cringe, or they knew they were going to get these certain reactions, like they did it on purpose. And the reason why this ended up being the winner out of all the other ones was because of Andrew WK performance, along with the fucking in the gameplay announcing that stupid collector's edition. That one is what really topped it off, is when I saw that. I'm like, it wins. Hands down. Cringy as shit. Especially with them basically taking the piss out of themselves. So there's that. Alright, so let's go to the last 3. So I did that. Okay, so the last 3. The most disappointing goes to Nintendo. For good reasons, as I explained. And you might be wondering what their reward is. Well, their award is basically their stocks going down the toilet. Because some of the stockholders, as soon as they made the announcement, like, but that's all we got. We got fucking, we got the remake Frankenstein monster of Smash Brothers, and that's it. So everyone's like, oh, fuck it, jump off ship. So their stock went. So, you know, we didn't need to make them have good memory to go up in the fucking stock again. But as of right now, in the toilet. Good reasons, too. They did a terrible fucking experience for this fucking show. That's the thing, too. It's all about entertainment, right? Let's talk about the worst one. Surprising nobody, the winner is, for the third year in a row, EA. Oh. Wow. It's like they just know how to perform to be the worst fucking one. They did so much wrong, and the reason why is because it comes off as being a show for their fucking their in stockholders versus the players. And the way they announced certain games was just god awful. The only good thing that came out of EA stuff was the indies. That's it. If it didn't have the indies, I wouldn't give two shits less about them. So that makes you believe who won this year's E3 if you're talking about press conference wise. I'm not talking about games. I'm not talking about who had the most shit, who had the best shit. I'm talking about the best press conference during E3. That goes to Xbox. And that fucking surprised me. Because Xbox, for a while, has been on the receiver of not being the best. But this year, because everyone else did so bad, and they did very well. They gave off games coming this year. They gave off games coming soon. They gave off a lot of games coming to the Xbox, mostly for the Xbox, not really so much the PC. It's like only Xbox stuff. So there wasn't no Windows 10 exclusive. It was just like exclusive, world premiere kind of shit. They had the final reveal of what fucking Cyberpunk's 20 whatever is from that one game company, the CD Projekt Red. Sorry, my voice is starting to get broken. But they also reassured people to say that, yeah, Xbox has not done well when it comes to this year, when it comes to this generation. But we have gotten some new properties in our hands. These are the new companies. Here's a new indie studio we're making. Here is this thing we're doing. Here is some new content we're doing, as well as we're making the new console for this next generation. So they're basically reassuring people to be like, if you don't have an Xbox, then we have something coming soon, kind of deal. And that sounds kind of bad to say, but honestly, the way they presented everything was just like nothing really bad. And I know, coming from me, hoping for Banjo-Kazooie, I know. But I'm just thinking logically, and honestly, what they showed and basically how they presented everything, very well done. So, congratulations to you, Xbox. Finally, for a long time, you're going to be the winner of this year's E3. And I would not be surprised if you end up succeeding next year. Because Sony, the way they're starting to present themselves now, are starting to become PS3 all over again. So expect them to be on the receiving line and Xbox to be the one that taunts them. I love this. And then Nintendo's just the middle guy who goes to one side or the other. I'm doing the Mario. So yeah, that's about it. That's basically this in a nutshell. Yeah, nice noises. I do want to thank you for watching this, and yeah, with a bit of my frustrations. I hope you enjoyed this year's E3 as much as I did watching this misery. And hopefully I'll be able to do this again next year with people, and the next episode I have with people and live, instead of doing offline commentary. But it's what it is. Anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I should not say watching. Thanks for listening in to my voice and me talking about my thoughts and everything. So now I'm finally done with E3. It could be off the toilet. Off it goes. I don't give two shits anymore. Now it's time for games until Halloween and Christmas. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, and I will see you later. So, time's to do my outro. So, you know. Goodbye.